Hello my lovelies, this is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia, and in this video I am going to show you guys how to crochet this simple mini skirt. And as you can see here, I'm using these two colors, just baby blue and white. Very simple. So if you would like to know how to make something like this, please stay tuned. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so before we get this project started, I'm going to show you all the materials that I'm using. And as you can see here, I have these two colors. I have this light baby blue, and then I have this white. But just in case you want to know the actual, based on how hobby, I guess, provides their colors, this is 71. And this one here is, what color is this one? So one just being like pure white. And as you can see again, this is from Hobby Rainbow, from Hobby 100% cotton. This is 50 grams for this skein like this. Yeah, recommended hook size for crochet is 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. And yeah, so this is pretty much the same as this. You can use any yarn of your choice for this project, so you don't have to particularly use what I'm using here. For a crochet hook size, I'm using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I have my darning needle here, a scissors, and a tape measure as well, okay? All right, now that we have everything set up, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the project here. So I have my yarn ready to go. I have my hook here ready to go. And the first thing that we're going to start with is we're going to create the band of the skirt. So we're going to do like about a couple of inches, maybe 2.5 inches in the band, and then we will work on the rest of the skirt after that. Okay, so I'm going to leave a bit of a tail here, just to be able to join the two sides of the band together, because after that we're going to be working in a circle. And we're going to do a slip knot first. And this is how I do my slip knot here. Okay, and now that I have my slip knot, I'm going to do a chain of 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have my chain of 15 here, and this is going to be the width of my band. And now that I have that, I'm going to skip the first stitch right here, and in this second stitch right here, I'm going to go to the back and do a half double crochet. Okay, so we're going to pick up the back loop of the stitch and then do a half double crochet, and then I'm going to move on to the next stitch and do a half double crochet. And we're going to continue this to the end of the row. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I've reached the end of the row here, and this is my first row. And as you can see, this is just a simple half double crochet. And at this point, you do have 14 stitches, and you're going to be working with 14 stitches for this part of the project, okay? To start row 2, which is our repeat row, we're going to do a chain of 1 and turning. And then in that very first stitch right here, we're going to go in the back and do a half double crochet. And then you're going to move on to the next stitch and pick up the back loop and do a half double crochet. And then you're going to move on to the next and do a half double crochet. And again, you're going to continue this until you get to the end. For the final stitch, I go through both loops to do a half double crochet before I chain 1 and turn. Okay, so work the rest of the stitches, and I'll meet you guys at the end. Okay, so I've reached the end of the second row here. I have 1 stitch to go, and I will just show you guys how I go through both loops for this final stitch to do my final half double crochet. So like that. Okay, so as you can see, that's the end of my row 2. And then we're going to start row 3, and you're just going to repeat this all the same. So don't forget to do a chain 1 at the beginning, and again, don't forget to go through the back loop except for the final stitch where you go through both loops. And you're going to build the length here that is going to be the circumference of the widest part of your hips. Okay, so what you need to do before you even start is you measure the widest part of your hips, and then you will build this band to be able to fit that. So let's say the widest part of your hip is 40 inches. Then you're going to create a length of this that is going to stretch to 40 inches. So it may end up coming up to 32, 33 before you stretch it, but when you really stretch it, depending on what type of yarn you use, it will be really stretchy. It will be stretchy enough, but as long as you stretch it to get to the length that you're looking to do. So for example, for me, the widest part of my hip, if it's really tight, is about 36, 38 inches. And if I want it a little bit looser, then it's usually about 40 inches. So this is a skirt that is going to be more like a tight skirt. So I'm going to aim for about 38 inches for the length of my band, okay? So when I have that, then I'm going to come back and I will show you guys how my band looks like, and then we will move on to the next step together. But for now, make sure you just continue to repeat these to create your band, and then come back when you have your length, okay? See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed making the band of the skirt here. So as you can see, it's quite long. When I stretch it, it comes to about 38 inches. And as you can see, if I fold it, this is going to be where my waist goes right here. And the reason we do the waist or the band way looser on the waist versus the hips is because you want to be able to bring your skirt up from the bottom without too much resistance. And we can always do a band or like a little bit of of a of a string to be able to tight the waist part of the skirt, but you want to be able to make sure that you can pull it up when you're trying to put it on. So that is why we make it the size of your hips as opposed to the size of your waist, because I know most people have smaller waist versus compared to their hips, okay? So just in case you're wondering why, that is why. So just if you wanted to know, mine came up to about 82 rows altogether. And like I said, 38 inches long. So I have it ready to go here. So what I will do is I will just join the two sides together, and I'm going to go ahead and have this joined here like this. I just need to go get my darning needle, and then when I have that ready, we will join this part here, and then we will start the remaining of the skirt, which is going to be going down that way. Okay, let me just grab my darning needle. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just grabbed my darning needle here. So I'm going to use the string that we left. Remember, I left the string earlier. If you did not do this, then you will have to cut this section where you finished off here. You will have to just take some of it, cut it off, and then use this to sew, and then rejoin your yarn a little bit later to be able to continue working with it. But I like to leave the string hanging at the beginning like this, so that I can actually use a separate string to sew it here shut, so I can continue working with my the body of the yarn here without disconnecting it. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust the camera here a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to join these here. So it's very simple. You have your darning needle, and it's often on this piece that is away, the side that is away from you, and then you will take the first stitch on this side, which is this is the first stitch right here, and then you're going to grab the first stitch on the other side just like this, and then you're going to pull, and it's going to lock this section here. And I often do one more in that same stitch just to make it more secure and more tighter, and you pull. And then for the remaining of the stitches here, I'm going to grab the inside loop of this side and then the outside of the other side. Okay, so you're not going through both loops, you're grabbing the inside part on the one closest to you and then the outside part on the one furthest from you. So you're just gonna keep doing this like this, and then the outside one on the other side, the inside one on this side here, and then the outside one on the other side. And you just continue to do this all the way to the end here. So do that, and then meet me when you have reached the final stitch on the end here. Okay, so I have reached almost the end here. So I have just 2 stitches to go. So for this one here, I'm going to go through both loops like that and just weave it in, just kind of like how we did at the beginning. And then I'm going to do one more in that final stitch as well, and just pull it and this is going to just kind of close this section here. And when I'm done that, I just pull off my darning needle. I have a little string hanging here, so I'm going to leave it here in case I need to correct anything. But that's pretty much it. So we join it pretty nice and neat. So now you have a circumference here to work with, and now we're going to build the rest of our skirt down that way, okay? All right, so to go ahead and get started with the first row of this section here, as you can see, this is where we stopped our work. We're just going to do a chain of 1 and then turning our work to work on the inside. And then we're going to just slip stitch on the first stitch on the other side and just kind of lock this section like this, so it kind of closes it in. And then we're going to do a chain of 1, and then we're going to go in the next stitch here and do a half double crochet, just like that. And then you're going to move on to the next stitch and do a half double crochet, and then you're going to move on to the next stitch and do a half double crochet. And by stitches I mean this is like a valley here, and there's a place that protrudes, so one goes in the valley and one goes on top of the place that protrudes. So it's not very difficult here, so just follow the rhythm of the work and make sure it's not too much apart and not too close to each other. And you're just going to do the half double crochets all the way until you get back to here, so all around your work until you get back to here. When you've gone back here, come back and I will show you how to start the next row, which is going to be our repeat row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the row of the half double crochet just all around our band here. And now that I have that, I've reached the end, and I'm just going to slip stitch on top of the chain 1 that we completed in this beginning of this row. And that is just to close this section off like that. Okay, now we're going to start the next row that is going to be the repeat row for this project, and you're going to do a chain of 2, so 1 2, and then you're going to turn your work just like this. And then in the next stitch right here, you're going to go into it and do a double crochet stitch like that, and then you're going to go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, and into the next stitch and do a double crochet, and you're going to continue to do the double crochet stitches on every single stitch until you come back to this end here. So your final double crochet stitch should go right here, and then I'll show you how to again slip stitch on top of here and then start the next row, and then that's going to be repeated until we have the length that we're looking for. But for now, go and do your double crochet stitches all around until you come back here. When you get to here, come back and I'll show you how to start the second row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my double crochet stitches around the band here, as you can see. And now that I'm back at the beginning of the row, I'm going to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet here that we created by doing a chain 2, and that just kind of closes that section up like that. And then I'm going to chain 2 again and turn. And then I'm just going to repeat this until I have the length of my skirt. So this is the rest of the rows are going to be exactly the same as this, which is just rows of double crochet, and you go around. When you get to the end, you finish your double crochet where there's no stitch, slip stitch to the top, chain 2, turn, and then continue to work like that. And yeah, so I'm going to be working like this until I have the length. And as you guys know, I have the white color here that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to complete the blue all together, so until I finish the skein of the blue color that I have. When I finish that, I'm going to change it to this white one, so it's going to pretty much have 2 tones. So it's going to have the blue on top and then the white in the bottom. But if you're doing one solid color, then you just continue to use the same color until you have the length of your skirt. And if you're wanting to change the color in a different pattern, then you can do a couple of rows of the blue, change it to the white, do a couple of rows of the white, and then change back to blue, and you can do it like that. But like I said, I'm going to be doing one complete block of the blue and then finish it with a block of the white in the bottom. Okay, so this is pretty much the repeat of this project until you get to the end. So go ahead and build up the length. It's a mini skirt for me, so it's going to be short, probably about 15 maybe 20 inches long. And then when I have that, I'm going to come back to show you guys how the whole thing looks like, and it's going to be the end of the project. Okay, so yeah, work on your project and then come back when you have reached the length that you would like to stop at. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and completed the length of my miniskirt here. So as you can see, these are the two colors that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. I have majority of the project in this light blue or baby blue color, and then I have the white in the bottom like so. So this is pretty much the end of it. I did about 15 inches altogether. So like I said, it's a miniskirt, so it's a I did 15 inches. If you're looking to do this skirt to be a little bit longer, obviously you would continue to work it until you get the length that you're looking for. Or if you want it even shorter than this, then you would have stopped a couple of inches before as well. Okay, so this is pretty much it. I do have the yarn to weave in here, as well as to weave in where we started it off here. And I believe where I changed the color as well, I will have to weave it in. So I will do that offline, but I'm going to show you guys how to put a strap on it. Okay, so this the waistline here is a little bit loose, and we did that so that we can actually fit this around our hips. And because our hips are a little bit usually wider than the waist, then we have to make sure that this part can actually come up our hips as well. So what I did here was, with this white yarn color, I did a chain that is long enough to go around my waist. And as you can see here, it's just a simple chain. I did not make it thicker. It's just one single chain like that, okay? So I have already put it in my darning needle here. And so I'm going to show you guys how to weave it through. And then I will go ahead and weave in my ends, and then I will come back and show you guys the complete project, okay? But for now, I'm going to show you. So what you will do is you will just lay your skirt down, and based on what side is going to be the front and what side is going to be the back. So in this case here, I'm going to have this be my front, and this is going to be my back, okay? And it doesn't matter, they're all equal. It's just so that when you do your straps, the straps are going to be hanging either on the front or the back, however you like to have that. Okay, so I'm going to choose the middle here. So I'm just going to go, okay, so this seems to be the middle right here for the skirt. So I'm going to take that stitch here, and I'm just going to put my darning needle through that gap like this. Let me try to zoom it so you can see. There you go. So we're just going to weave it in like this, and we're going to keep weaving it in like so, and we're going to do this all the way around. So as you can see, when I pull the string through like that, I do have it showing like this, okay? So you're just gonna do that all around until you get back here. When you get back here, all the way back to the center here, come back and we'll look at it to see how it is. In the meanwhile, I'm going to weave in my ends as well, okay? See you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have completed putting the drawstring around the skirt. So as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks like here. And yeah, so that's pretty much done. So this is going to be where I will end up eventually tying my my string when I have it put on. So that's pretty much it. I've already weaved in the ends as well. So this is just a very simple mini skirt, as you can see here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed making this one with me. And yeah, so thank you again for watching the video to the end, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Ciao.